Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another video. Today we are back with the championship predictions for the upcoming weekend, and I'm joined by George. How you doing, my man?
Yeah, not too bad. Just witnessed a 5-0 defeat to Luton, so you know, as good as can be expected, we'll say that.
Yeah, we need to move straight on to the next set of fixtures, don't we, after that? Yeah. Guys, before we get into this video, you know the drill. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here, and let's get started with Friday night's fixture, which sees Stoke City take on West Bromwich Albion. Now, West Brom, they're back to their best, aren't they? What a result that was at Cardiff in midweek. And Alex Mauer, what a goal. Take a bow, son. Stoke City picked up a draw against Preston. They're still churning out results, but I think this is a team battling for the playoffs versus a team battling for the automatics. Definitely. And I think West Brom are just going to edge this. Stoke City 1, West Bromwich Albion 2.
Yeah, I mean, on paper you would say West Brom, but on this occasion I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to sit on the fence like a professional, and I'm going to say 1-1.
1-1?
Yeah. 1-1.
Interesting. We'll move on to the lunchtime game in the Championship on the Saturday, which sees Coventry City take on Fulham Football Club. It is third versus fourth, and I was really excited about this one up until Wednesday when Coventry lost 5-0 against Luton. I'm still trying to be positive. I still think we've got to take into account that was an away game. It could just be a blip and we need to move on from that. But yeah, it just wasn't very good. This is going to be interesting though. Coventry still are the only team in the Championship with a 100% home record, and this is where it really gets put to the test against a team like Fulham, who've been pretty decent so far. They're up to third. It's really hard to call. That Luton game's a bit of a spanner in the works. Coventry City 1, Fulham Football Club 1.
Yeah, it is difficult to call now. This is going to be the first time playing against one of the sort of top 3 or 4 sides, so it is going to be a good test for us. It is going to see if our start to the season is sort of above our, where we should be. But yeah, I'm still feeling confident. I think we are one of the, when I say us, I'm on about Coventry. I think we are one of the best footballing sides in the league, and I think we're going to keep it tight, and I'm going to go for a 1-0 win.
Wow, yeah, 1-0 to Coventry. That would be a big result, trying to get that last win in before the international break the following week. Let's move on to the 3 PM kickoffs. We've got Barnsley versus Millwall, 2 teams that so far have been a little bit below where you'd expect them to be, although Millwall with a big result in midweek, beating Bristol City 1-0 that pushes them more towards mid-table. Meanwhile, Barnsley just not quite living up to the levels of last season. I don't know what's going wrong at Barnsley, and they really need a result here. I don't think they're going to get it. I think Millwall are just too robust for Barnsley to break down, and I think it's going to be a goalless draw.
2-0 win for Millwall.
Yeah?
Yeah.
2-0 Millwall. How come?
Yeah, like I said, Barnsley, they've been poor. I think they've got to be one of the favourites to go down at this point. I think Millwall, they've had a decent start to the season. Obviously had a lot of draws, and they've finally got a win, and I think they're going to follow it up with another win.
Next up, we go to St Andrews, Birmingham City versus Nottingham Forest. This is an interesting one to call. A few weeks ago, it would be a definite Birmingham win, I'd go here, but Birmingham's form's dipped and Forest's form's gone up again, so very hard to call this one. Birmingham obviously lost 2-0 away to QPR. Forest with a very good result away at Barnsley. I think I'm going to sit on the fence. Birmingham need to try and get back to winning ways, but Forest are just pulling things together now. So I'm going to go for Birmingham 1, Forest 1.
Yeah, so I think Nottingham Forest, they've definitely come on well, especially with the change in manager or head coach with Steve Cooper. He's doing a good job. He's a decent coach, and I think they will win again. I think they'll win 1-0. Forest. 1-0,
interesting. Yeah. Next up, this will be an interesting one. Blackpool FC versus Blackburn Rovers. I'm telling you, this is a game I've got my eye on. This is going to have goals in it. Both teams have been doing fairly well lately, and both having quite a few entertaining games. Blackpool really picking up the form and climbing towards the top half. Meanwhile, Blackburn are good at times, but can be a bit hit and miss. So I'm going to go for Blackpool to win a thriller. Blackpool 3, Blackburn 2.
Yeah, this is technically, it's a Lancashire derby, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be. I'm going to go for Blackpool to edge it and go for 2-1.
2-1. Next up we go down to the Vitality, where we see AFC Bournemouth take on Sheffield United. This will be an interesting one. Two teams at the start of the season predicted to do well. Bournemouth living up to that expectation despite a 0-0 at Peterborough, which wasn't an amazing result, but I did predict a draw there because it's not easy to go away to Peterborough. And Sheffield United, yeah, they haven't been amazing so far this season. They had picked it up a bit but then lost to Middlesbrough midweek, which saw them drop a couple of places. So yeah, both need to get some points out of this one. I'm going to go for a little bit of a surprise here. AFC Bournemouth 0, Sheffield United 1.
Oh, you know, I was actually going to go for a shock, scoreline myself. I was going to go for 2-0 to Sheffield United.
Yeah, I don't know why.
You wouldn't expect it, but I don't know. I just fancy it.
Yeah, fancy Sheffield United to do well in that one.
Yeah.
Next up is Cardiff City versus Reading Football Club, and this is a pretty tricky one to predict. Reading had been doing okay up until midweek, and then they lost to Derby. Cardiff just not doing very well at all, and two very bad results coming into this one. So, don't know. It's two teams that it's a bit harsh to say Reading are low in confidence. I think Reading will have more confidence, and that's why I'm actually just going to edge them. I think Cardiff City are in a bit of a poor position, and Mick McCarthy could be going soon. Cardiff 1, Reading 2.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mick McCarthy's job is quite literally on the line. You would expect him to be, battling for a top 6 place this season, I would have thought. But I think they are going to get a positive result, and I'm going to go for a Cardiff win, and they're going to win 1-0.
Wow, big result that would be for Big Mick down in South Wales. Next up, Derby County versus Swansea City. Derby with a crucial win against Reading as they continue to try and defy the odds, and who knows, wouldn't it be amazing if they stayed up this season? Not if you're a Nottingham Forest fan, of course, but obviously if you're a Derby fan or a neutral, that would be quite something to watch. Against Swansea, not sure what to think. Swansea blowing hot and cold. They obviously lost in midweek, but when you lose away to Fulham, that's no disgrace. I think I'm going to go for a share of the spoils. Derby just keep churning out a couple of points here. Derby 1, Swansea 1.
Yeah, you mentioned about Derby staying up, and I actually think they will. I think they've had a decent start to the season. They're no mugs, and I think Wayne Rooney will prove himself as a manager by keeping them up this season. And I'm going to go for another win. I think they'll win 1-0. Derby.
Wow, that would be a big result. Next up, we go to the KC, Hull City versus Middlesbrough Football Club, two sort of northeast teams, and hard to predict. I think Middlesbrough, a big result in midweek against Sheffield United. They needed that as Neil Warnock had a little bit of pressure on him, but Hull City, that is where the pressure is starting to build, because although they're a newly promoted team, no wins since the opening day, and it has to come soon, doesn't it? Their second win. Will it come here? No. Hull City 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Hull will win on this occasion, but I think they're going to pick up something. I think it's going to be a draw. I think it's going to be a 3-3 draw.
Wow.
Goals galore.
That would be mental.
Yeah.
Next up to Kenilworth Road, Luton Town versus Huddersfield Town. This is two teams that picked up very good results in the week, both seeing 5 goals in their game. Huddersfield winning 3-2, Luton winning 5-0, and yeah, both going to be in good confidence coming into this. Luton, I just think that 5-0 win against Coventry is really going to kickstart their season. There have been a lot of draws up until then, and I think they're going to get another win here. Luton 2-0.
Yeah, to be honest, I know Luton have just won 5-0. It's a strange one. I don't think they are going to follow it up with another win. I think they're actually going to lose 2-1 to Huddersfield.
Wow.
I think Huddersfield have had a decent start. They're just, kind of flirting with the playoff places at the moment. And, I think they're going to be too strong for Luton. 2-1.
Yeah. Wow, that would be an interesting scoreline. Next we go down to see Peterborough versus Bristol City. Posh picking up a good result against Bournemouth. I did back them to get a draw, and I think if they stay up this season, it will be that home form that keeps them up. They're picking up some decent points, and I think the only game they've lost at home this season is against West Brom in the last minute, so that's no disgrace. Bristol City, meanwhile, lost to Millwall in midweek, but it's still been a reasonably good start for them, so... Posh will see this as a chance to win, but I think I'm going to go for another draw. Peterborough 1, Bristol City 1.
Is this at home to Peterborough?
Yeah.
I am going to go for a Peterborough win, which they so desperately need. And I'm going to go for a 3-1 win.
3-1, wow,
Yep.
That would be a cracker. The last game is at Loftus Road. We see Queen's Park Rangers take on Preston North End. And this is a big game for both teams. Both want to keep churning out points here and there. QPR got a very good result, didn't they, against Birmingham City. Meanwhile, Preston picked up a 1-1 with Stoke, which isn't a bad result considering Stoke have had a decent start. I think this is going to be a decent game. And I'm going to say QPR 2, Preston North End 1. QPR to pinch it.
Yeah, I think on paper you would say QPR are the strongest side. And I think if you was to predict a scoreline, you'd say that QPR would come out on top. And I'm going to say exactly that. I think they will win this game 2-0.
2-0 to the
QPR.
R's. That wraps up today's video, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. It's a quick turnaround after those midweek games. Make sure to drop a like on this one, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.